The accident Jack Miller never wanted to meet aliens. He was just a simple guy. A space engineer who liked fixing things and eating noodles in peace. But on the day of the great peace celebration between humans and the Galactic Empire, Jack's life changed forever. He was assigned to check the lights in the royal hall of the alien cruiser Emerald Flame, the largest ship in the galaxy. It was floating above Jupiter's orbit like a shining diamond. Inside, hundreds of important guests, both alien and human, were gathering for the historic event. Jack wasn't invited to the party. He wasn't rich, powerful, or smart enough. His job was simple: fix the broken light above the royal throne and leave quietly. But of course, nothing ever goes that smoothly. "You've got 20 minutes, Miller," his boss said through the communicator. "Don't touch anything shiny." Jack floated into the hall with his tool bag, wearing his dusty work uniform. The place looked like a glowing dream. Silver walls, floating orbs of blue fire, and music that sounded like singing stars. Alien guards stood everywhere, their armor shining with symbols Jack couldn't read. And there, at the center, sitting on a floating glass throne, was Her Royal Highness, Princess Ziriah of the Galactic. She looked like a goddess. Her skin shimmered like violet pearl. Her eyes glowed, golden, and her dress, it was made of living silk that moved like waves. Everyone bowed to her except Jack. He didn't notice her. He was too busy trying to open his toolbox. "Why won't you?" "Ah!" The box suddenly flipped, and one of the tools flew out, hitting a waiter drone carrying a tray of sparkling alien drinks. The tray spun in the air. Time slowed. 3 cups of glowing green juice flew right toward the princess. Plop, one hit her face. Splash, another soaked her royal robe. The last one landed in her golden hair. The music stopped. Every guest turned. The guards raised their weapons. Jack froze, still holding his stupid screwdriver. Ziriah stood up slowly. Her eyes narrowed. The juice dripped from her chin. "Who is this creature?" she said, her voice cold like space. A human ambassador rushed forward, sweating. Your Highness, please forgive him. He's just a technician." "A filthy one," she said. She looked at Jack like he was a worm on her shoe. "You dare insult the crown of Galactic? Do you not know this robe was made from the last star silk beast?" Jack opened his mouth. I didn't mean—" Silence. The guards surrounded him. One pushed him to the ground. His tool bag rolled away. "By Galactic law," Ziriah said, raising her hand, "an insult to royal blood demands life in return." The crowd gasped. Jack blinked. "Wait, what?" "You shall die for your crime," she said calmly, like she was talking about the weather. "Hold on," Jack shouted. "It was an accident, a clumsy accident." "Your clumsiness is a threat to the Empire," she replied. Before he could explain, a metal collar snapped around his neck. The guards lifted him like trash. "You can't be serious," Jack shouted as they dragged him away. "I just came to fix a light." The last thing he saw before the doors shut was the princess wiping her face with a golden cloth and giving him a cold, perfect smile. 10 minutes later, Jack sat alone in a dark cell deep in the belly of the alien ship. The walls pulsed with strange green light. He kept muttering to himself, "All I did was spill a drink. How is that a death sentence?" Suddenly, the door opened. A tall figure stepped in. It was not a guard. It was an alien with a half-burnt face and a mechanical eye. "You are the human who angered the princess," he said. Jack nodded slowly. "Yeah, that's me." The alien looked left and right, then leaned in. "I can get you out, but you'll owe me later." Jack stared at him. "Why would you help me?" The alien smiled. "Because, human, I hate the royal family even more than you do." Jack had no choice. He stood up. "Okay," he said. "Let's get out of here." The escape. The prison cell was colder than space itself. Jack sat against the wall, his eyes on the collar around his neck. It blinked every few seconds. Red, then blue, then red again. He didn't know what it meant, but he had a bad feeling. In alien movies, blinking lights never meant anything good. The door hadn't opened for hours. No food, no water, just silence and fear. Until now. A click broke the silence. The door opened with a hiss. The alien with the burnt face entered again. His name was revealed now. Caro, a former royal guard turned traitor. Are you ready to run? Caro asked. I don't even know what's happening, Jack replied. Why are you helping me? Caro didn't smile. He walked toward the wall, pulled off a panel, and revealed a dark tunnel behind it. I don't like the crown, he said. Especially not Zariah. She smiles like an angel, but inside, she's darker than the void. Jack hesitated. You think she's evil? Worse, Caro said. She wants war. That word hit Jack like a punch. But this was a peace event. Not really, Caro whispered. You ruined her speech, so she changed her plan. Now she'll use your insult as an excuse. She'll say humans disrespected the Empire, she'll start a war, and most won't even know the truth. Jack's hands turned cold. You mean she was waiting for a reason? Caro nodded. And now I'm that reason. Without another word, Jack followed Caro into the tunnel. The tunnel was narrow and full of steam. Strange blue lights pulsed through the pipes. Jack tried not to think about what creatures might be crawling around in there. They crawled, climbed, and finally reached a control room hidden between fuel chambers. This place used to be mine, Caro said. Before they erased my name from the records. Jack looked around. Old weapons, maps, and alien food packs were stored here. It was like a secret base. Caro pressed a button, and a large screen came alive. Look. On the screen, Princess Zariah giving a speech. Her voice was calm and proud. The human disrespected our sacred blood, she said. They sent a spy, a coward, to mock our throne. We have no choice but to respond. Cheers came from alien warriors standing behind her. Jack felt sick. She's turning them all against Earth. Exactly, Caro said. But if we escape and get to the satellite tower, we can send a message, show everyone what really happened. There are cameras in the hall. The truth is saved in the system. Jack nodded. Okay, let's do it. But as he turned, a red alarm started flashing. They know, Caro growled. They tracked your collar. Jack looked down. The light was now solid red. They're coming, Caro said. We run, now. They ran through fire vents and jumped over plasma tubes. Jack's breath burned in his chest. Behind them, alien guards in armor chased with electric staffs. Caro shot one of them using a hidden blaster. Sparks flew. We need a ship, Jack shouted. There's one in Hangar 9, Caro replied. An old escape pod. They never check it. As they ran, the floor suddenly shook. A metal wall closed ahead of them, trapped. This way. Caro kicked a panel on the side, revealing another vent. Jack dove in. As they crawled, Jack asked, Why do you even care about this? You're risking your life for a human you just met. Caro stopped. His voice was quiet. Zariah destroyed my home. My wife died because of her lies. Helping you is how I get justice. Jack understood. They finally reached Hangar 9. The pod was small, barely enough for one person. Dust covered the outside. Get in, Caro said. What about you? I'll stay. Slow them down. But you must reach the satellite tower on Archon 5. Send the truth. Jack climbed in, heart racing. Thank you, he said. Don't thank me yet, Caro replied. Just survive. As the hangar doors opened, alarms screamed. Guards burst in. Caro fired. The pod launched. Jack was thrown back as the stars blurred around him. He was free. For now. But suddenly the pod shook violently. A system error blinked. Navigation failure. Crash landing in 10, 9, 8. Jack screamed as the pod spun out of control, heading toward an unknown planet covered in storm clouds and wild energy. The jungle moon crash. Silence. Smoke. The escape pod was half buried in thick vines and soft mud. Fire crackled from its broken engine. Sparks jumped like angry insects. Above, the sky was black, swirling with clouds that flashed purple every few minutes. Jack was alive. Barely. He groaned, pushing open the broken door. His arms were cut, his shirt torn, and everything hurt, but pain meant he was still breathing. He stepped out slowly and looked around. Jungle. Endless jungle. Trees, as tall as buildings, stretched in every direction. Their leaves were glowing faint green and strange fog floated around the roots. In the distance, something howled. Not like a wolf, more like a machine trying to scream. Great, Jack whispered. Now I'm in an alien horror movie. He checked the pod systems. Communications dead. Food, minimal. Water, 1 bottle. And his most important mission? Getting to the satellite tower and sending the truth about Princess Ziraya? Impossible. Unless he found help. Or something worse found him first. Hours passed. Jack walked through the jungle, using a broken metal rod as a walking stick. Every step felt like walking into someone's trap. Vines moved even when there was no wind. Some trees had eyes. And the ground, it whispered. He didn't want to believe it, but he heard it. A whisper. Soft and gentle. Jack. He spun around. No one. Just fog. Who's there? No answer. Just the sound of breathing that wasn't his. He kept walking. By night, he found an old human structure, half covered in moss and roots. The symbol on the wall said UNS Colony 7. It was a science outpost, long abandoned. Inside, he found a journal, dusty, almost falling apart, written by someone named Dr. Elena Wright. He opened the last page. We should never have come here. There is something alive in the planet. It speaks in dreams. It sees through your thoughts. It wants to be free. I tried to shut it out. Now it's inside me. If someone reads this, run. Jack. Drop the book. Then, the whisper came again, this time inside his head. Jack, you are not like them. Who are you? He shouted. No answer. His head hurt. A deep, sharp pain behind his eyes. Like something was drilling inside. He grabbed a flashlight and searched the rest of the outpost. He found an old computer and forced it on using a backup battery. A video began playing. A human scientist stared into the camera, her eyes bloodshot. We made contact with something ancient. It lives beneath the jungle. It was here before any stars were born. It's not a creature. It's a mind. And now it's waking up. Jack turned off the video, but it was too late. His mind was already opening. That night, Jack dreamed, but it wasn't a normal dream. He saw a world of black oceans and silver stars. He floated in space, but he wasn't human. He was something more. Something large, endless, powerful. He saw planets burn. He saw beings kneel. And in the center of it all, he saw Princess Ziraya, standing in front of a dark throne made of bone. You shouldn't be here, she said. This isn't real, Jack replied. No, she said. This is truth. Suddenly, a shadowy creature rose behind her, tall and formless, with eyes like dying suns. It whispered, same voice. He'd heard earlier, free me. Jack woke up screaming. He ran from the outpost into the jungle. He didn't stop until the sun rose, or whatever passed for sun on this cursed planet. Finally, he collapsed near a river glowing faint blue. And that's when he saw her. A figure in a cloak. Not Galari, not human, something else. She stepped out of the trees, her face hidden under a silver mask. You heard it, didn't you? She asked. Jack stood slowly. What is it? A weapon, she replied. A god once. Now, a prisoner beneath this planet. Why is it in my head? Because you are human. Your mind is still open. The Galari closed theirs long ago. Jack looked at her carefully. Who are you? The woman pulled off her hood. Her face was part flesh or part machine. Her eyes glowed silver. I was one of the first humans who came here, she said, and I never left. Jack stepped back. What do you want from me? Not me, she said. It wants you. Why? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked up at the sky. Zariah is coming, she whispered. She's not going to wait for you to die. She's bringing an army, and she will burn this moon to stop the truth from spreading. Jack's heart dropped. Then we need to stop her. The woman tilted her head. You're just an engineer, Jack. What makes you think you can stop a princess? Jack picked up the broken rod again. Because I'm not alone anymore. The mind taker. Jack had always considered himself ordinary, just a fixer, a background guy, someone who knew how to repair engines, replace cables, and survive on microwave noodles. But now, something was living in his head. And it was far from ordinary. They sat near the glowing river, Jack and the strange half-machine woman who called herself Lyra. She stirred the water with a metal stick. It's not a voice, she said softly. It's a memory. A living memory that doesn't forget. Jack held his head, feeling the presence again. It moved through his thoughts like smoke, slow and patient. What does it want from me? He asked. Lyra didn't answer immediately. Instead, she pulled a small device from her cloak, a cracked data disk. This used to belong to the Galactic Council, she said, before they erased the history of this moon. Jack took it. The screen flickered and showed a map, the core of the planet miles underground. Labeled in old human text project, mind taker status, terminated, they tried to destroy it, Lyra said. But you can't kill something that was never fully alive. Jack looked at her. What is the mind taker? She turned to him. An idea. A mind too powerful to have a body. It used to drift through space looking for hosts, planets, empires. But when it reached here, the Galari trapped it, built prisons underground, buried it under metal, rock, and silence. Jack whispered, and now it's waking up. Because you landed here, Lyra said, and your brain isn't trained to resist it. Jack looked up at the sky. Lightning flashed in the clouds. The whisper returned, closer now, stronger. You are mine. He felt pressure inside his skull, like his thoughts weren't his anymore. He stood quickly. I need to leave this planet. Lyra shook her head. You can't. Why not? She pointed at the sky. A massive ship slowly descended through the storm clouds. Princess Zariah. Her flagship, the obsidian flame, shaped like a crescent blade, blocked the sun. She's here, Lyra said. And she didn't come to arrest you. She came to kill the moon. Jack and Lyra ran through the jungle. Above, the ship began dropping pods, heavy metal cylinders falling through the trees like thunder. From inside them, Galari soldiers poured out, cloaked, masked, and armed with pulse spears. They weren't searching, they were hunting. Jack and Lyra reached the old outpost again. What's the plan? Jack asked. Lyra looked into his eyes. You have two choices. Run into the caves and face the mind taker, or get caught by Zariah and her army. Jack frowned. Those both sound terrible. One of them might save the galaxy. He hesitated. The voice returned. Not a whisper this time, but a deep, echoing hum in his brain. Come to me. He grabbed a lantern. Show me the entrance. Beneath the outpost, a metal door led to ancient tunnels. Cold, endless hallways that hadn't seen light in centuries. The walls were covered in Galari script. Lyra read them aloud. Here sleeps the thought without form. May it never awaken. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Jack's breath fogged in front of him. Water dripped from the ceiling. At last, they reached a massive chamber. Inside, a sphere. Floating, made of dark metal and humming with invisible energy. Jack stepped closer. The hum grew louder. "This is the core," Lyra said. "Where the mind taker is sealed. And how do I talk to it? You don't." Jack touched the sphere anyway. He fell, not physically, but into thought, into memory, into light. He stood in a strange, shifting void. Around him were memories not his own. Cities built. From bones, stars whispering to each other, beings of energy merging and splitting. A voice spoke. "I was before the gods, before the rules. They feared me, so they buried me. But you, Jack Miller, you are open." Jack shook. "What do you want?" "Freedom. You'll destroy everything." "Not everything. Only those who forget. Those who lie. Those who wear crowns made of blood." Jack saw images flash Zariah, her throne, her father, the Galari Emperor, burning a world to protect his secret. "Set me free, and I will give you power, knowledge, justice." Jack hesitated. "And what will it cost me?" "Your mind. But only a little at first." He opened his eyes. Lyra was yelling. "Jack, let go!" He stepped back from the sphere. "It's alive," he whispered, "and it wants to help me." "No," Lyra said. "It wants to use you." But Jack wasn't sure anymore. For the first time in his life, he felt something inside him awaken. Not fear, not weakness, control. Above, Zariah's army moved closer. Below, the mind taker stirred. Jack stood between two powers, and whatever he chose next would change the galaxy forever. The confrontation. The moon trembled. Not from the weather, not from ships, from something waking below. Jack stood in silence at the edge of the ancient chamber. The sphere that held the mind taker now pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. It wasn't just inside his mind anymore, and it was inside his blood. Lyra watched from a distance, uneasy. "You touched it," she said. "Didn't you?" Jack didn't answer at first. He looked down at his hand. Faint cracks of dark light spread across his skin like roots. "I didn't mean to," he whispered. "But it spoke to me. It showed me things. Truths. It..." "Lies, Jack," Lyra warned. "That's how it spreads. One whisper at a time." Jack turned to her. "Then tell me this. Is it a lie that Zariah's empire burned 5 colonies to hide this moon?" Lyra looked away. Silence. "I thought so," Jack said. Above ground, the storm raged harder. The obsidian flame hovered like a god's sword. Galari soldiers, over 200 of them, surrounded the ruins. At their front stood Princess Zariah, her robe now replaced with black armor. Her crown glowed. Her golden eyes were cold and fixed on the jungle below. "We end this now," she said. "You want him alive?" asked her general. Zariah looked down toward the moon's core. "I want him buried." Jack and Lyra prepared as fast as they could. The power from the mind taker was unstable. Jack felt stronger, his thoughts sharper, faster, but his emotions were harder to hold. Anger came quickly now. So did certainty. "They're coming," Lyra said, watching, her scanner. "You don't stand a chance against that many." "Maybe not as Jack," he said, "but maybe as something else." He closed his eyes and listened to the mind taker. Its voice was clearer now. "You are ready. Open the path." Jack reached toward the sphere again. This time, it didn't resist. The ground shook violently. Walls cracked. Energy surged upward, black electric mist flooding through the tunnels. Outside, Galari soldiers stopped marching. They saw the jungle changing, trees bending unnaturally, vines moving like snakes. And in the distance, a figure rising from the cracked earth. Jack Miller. But no longer just Jack. Zariah stepped forward as he emerged from the mist. "You," she said. Jack looked different. Eyes glowing faint violet. Veins like circuits, his voice deeper but calm. "Me," he said. "The man you tried to execute. The one you used to start a war." You betrayed the peace between our people, she said. Now look at you. You've become one of them. No, Jack replied. I became what your lies created. Zariah drew her blade, not made of metal but pure light. You want to fight me? She asked. Jack raised his hand. Energy rippled across the jungle floor. I don't want to fight you, he said. I want you to remember. He snapped his fingers. The air behind him shimmered. A hologram played, taken from the core's memory banks. It showed Zariah's father, the Galari Emperor, standing before the Mind-Taker's prison centuries ago. Seal it forever, the Emperor said. If anyone learns the truth, the royal bloodline ends. And if my daughter ever questions it, remind her of her duty. Zariah's expression froze. No, she whispered. The vision changed, showing young Zariah being trained to hate the Mind-Taker told only one story her entire life. A lie. They used you too, Jack said gently. Just like me. Zariah lowered her sword. For a moment her eyes softened, but then her general shouted, He's tricking you, princess. It's in his mind. And now it wants yours. And suddenly, she screamed. The Mind-Taker's voice echoed inside. Her. She dropped her blade, holding her head. Get out of me. Jack stepped forward, reaching for her. Zariah, listen to me. Her body twisted with energy. The Mind-Taker wasn't trying to speak anymore. It was trying to consume her. Jack made a choice. He stepped between Zariah and the soldiers. Take me instead, he said aloud. The mist paused. The jungle quieted. Zariah collapsed, unconscious. Jack felt the Mind-Taker swirl around him. You would give yourself to me. Why? Because you don't care who you hurt, Jack said. But I do. There was a long silence. Then the voice replied. Very well. A flash of light, then darkness. When Jack opened his eyes, the jungle was still. The Galari army had withdrawn. Zariah was gone, taken back to her ship, but Jack was alone. Except not quite. He was no longer a man running from death. He was now its host. And somewhere, deep inside him, the Mind-Taker whispered one last time. Thank you, Jack Miller. Now let's begin. The truth revealed. 3 days passed. No signal, no food, no sky, only thought. Jack sat in silence near the ruins of the outpost. His body was still. But inside, storms raged. He no longer needed sleep, no longer needed rest, because the Mind-Taker was fully awake inside him, and it was showing him everything. Visions came in waves, not like dreams, more like memories stolen from the stars. He saw the first civilizations of the galaxy, long before humans or Galari even existed. He saw a race of energy beings full of wisdom and curiosity, creating stars for fun. He saw how they discovered a creature or maybe an idea, a sentient thought that wanted to live but had no body. They named it the Void Mind. They tried to help it. They gave it shapes, forms, songs. But the more they gave, the more it wanted, until one day it consumed them all, not with fire or weapons, but with truth. It told them everything, their flaws, their secrets, their past, and their minds collapsed under the weight of it. The voice whispered to Jack, now gentle as wind. Truth is power, but only the strong survive it. Jack stood slowly. He could feel the world breathing with him. He knew everything about the planet now, every tunnel, every root, every bone buried beneath the soil. But more than that, he knew everything about Zariah, her pain, her training, her doubts. He knew she didn't want war, and that terrified her empire. Suddenly, a signal broke through the silence. A hologram blinked to life in the air. It was Zariah. She was alone, without armor. Jack, if you're still alive, listen to me. We made a mistake. I made a mistake. Her voice trembled. My people lied to me, to all of us, about the moon, the Mind-Taker, even about you. She paused. You were never the danger. The danger is what they'll do to keep the truth buried. Jack listened. The voice inside him stayed quiet. Zariah continued. My father sent a message to the High Council. He wants the moon destroyed, your body included. She looked directly at the screen. But I don't want you to die, Jack. Not anymore. I want to understand. And if there's still a part of you left in there, please meet me. One last time. Jack stared into the jungle. Something inside him twisted. A choice. If he stayed, the Galari would erase this place and everything in it. But if he left, if he showed them what he had become, he risked spreading the mind-taker across the stars. That night, Lyra returned. She had been watching from the trees, waiting. You're different, she said. I'm not Jack anymore, he replied. She tilted her head. Then what are you? He thought for a moment. I'm the truth they tried to kill. Lyra nodded slowly. Then maybe it's time they heard it. They boarded an old scout ship hidden in the caves. It was barely working, but Jack didn't need technology anymore. The ship moved because he willed it to. As they flew through the stormy skies, he looked down one last time at the moon, now pulsing with power. Roots glowed. The jungle moved. The planet was waking. They landed at a secret station orbiting, near the Galari border. There, inside a clean, silent meeting hall, stood Zariah. She didn't flinch when Jack entered. He looked human again. But something in his eyes glowed softly, like ancient fire. Zariah stepped forward. Thank you for coming. Jack didn't speak. She looked down. I thought I was doing what was right, protecting my people, my family's legacy. You were doing what you were told, Jack said finally. Zariah nodded. But I'm not like them anymore, she said. I want to break the cycle. Jack walked past her and placed a data crystal on the table. This holds everything, he said. The memories of the mind-taker, the truth about your empire, about mine, about everything they hid. Zariah reached for it, but before she could, Jack stopped her. If you open this, he said, you'll never see your people the same again. You'll never see yourself the same. Zariah looked into his eyes. I know. Meanwhile, far away, the High Council received the Emperor's order. Planet 9X Jungle Sector. Fire Level 7 cleanse. Erase all life. Missiles prepared. Countdown. 24 hours back in the station, Jack sat alone staring out into the stars. The voice whispered, soon. The galaxy will choose lie or truth, silence or awakening. Jack whispered back, and if they choose war, the voice answered, then we remind them who we used to be. Enemies to allies 24 hours left. That's all the time the moon had before the Gallery Council launched their cleansing strike. A full planetary wipe. Everything would burn. Jungle, memory, truth, life. Zariah sat alone in the orbital station's command room staring at the glowing crystal Jack had given her. It rested on a table like a tiny star, humming softly. Inside it was the truth. But outside, the Empire's ships were lining up. War was coming, unless something changed. Jack stood on the observation deck looking out into the dark between stars. He no longer felt tired. The mind-taker gave him more than power. It gave him purpose. But he still remembered what it felt like to be human, and he missed it. Zariah entered quietly. I've seen it, she said. Everything. The truth. The mind-taker's memories. My father's orders. The cover-ups. Jack turned. And Zariah's face was pale. I wanted to believe he was doing it for peace, but it was fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of letting people think for themselves. Jack nodded. He's not the only one. Zariah walked closer. If we show this to the galaxy, everything changes. The Empire falls. Earth loses its last protector. Chaos spreads. Jack spoke calmly. Truth causes chaos, but it also ends lies. Zariah looked into his eyes. There's another option. Jack raised an eyebrow. We destroy the mind taker, she said. Together, before the council launches their strike. We give them a reason to stop. No more war. No more risk. Jack was silent. Then the voice inside him whispered, She fears me. As they all do. He replied inside his thoughts, She fears what you might become. Zariah placed her hand on the crystal. I'm not afraid of you anymore, Jack. I'm afraid of what they'll do to you. To me? Jack asked. You're the proof of their lies. They won't let you live. He looked down. I know. Zariah's voice shook. So make them need you. Jack blinked. What? She stepped closer. Give them something bigger to fear than the truth. The collapse of both our empires. Jack considered it. Then he smiled. Not cold, not evil. Clever. 10 hours later, a broadcast was sent across the galaxy. From the edge of Galari space to the depths of human outposts on Mars, screens came alive. The face of Jack Miller appeared, not as a prisoner, not as a monster, but as a man changed by truth. This is not a threat, he began. This is a gift, a second chance. Behind him stood Princess Zariah, silent, proud, unarmed. We were lied to, Jack continued, by rulers who feared what we might learn. But the mind taker, it doesn't want war. It wants to be remembered. It wants to be part of something again. He paused. We offer a choice. Peace or silence. Minutes later, chaos erupted. Earth's leaders panicked. Galari generals screamed betrayal. Ships locked weapons. Countdowns resumed. But then, something impossible happened. The jungle moon moved. Not drifted. Moved. Slightly. Carefully. As if alive. The entire planet shifted orbit, pulling free. From gravity's chains, scientists couldn't explain it. Pilots screamed over comms, and then Jack's voice echoed again. We are leaving. Inside the moon's core, Jack stood at the center, his body glowing, his mind joined with the last pieces of the mind taker's ancient form. He looked up at the stars. You feared the truth, he whispered. So we became your myth. Zariah appeared beside him. Are you sure about this? She asked. If we stay, they'll kill us. If we run, they'll remember us forever. So what happens now? Jack looked at her. Now, we start again. Final broadcast. To the free peoples of the galaxy, Zariah's voice said, we are not your enemies. We are the beginning of something new. Those who wish to learn the truth, follow the path of the forgotten moon. Months later, legends spread of a moving planet guarded by a man who could speak to stars and a former princess who defied her crown. Some called them outlaws, some called them prophets, others whispered a new name. The Lightkeepers. Because wherever they went, they brought the truth, and in a galaxy built on lies, truth is the most dangerous weapon of all. The signal that should not exist. It started with a whisper in the dark, not from the mind taker, not from any known system, not from any place at all. It came during the cold hours between stars, when even light forgets how to travel. Jack sat alone in the control chamber of the drifting moon. He no longer heard the mind taker like before, not as a voice, but as a shadow that moved inside his deeper thoughts. They were no longer master and host. They were fused now, peaceful, balanced, or so he thought, until the signal came, a slow, repeating tone, 5 pulses, then silence, then again. Buzzed, buzz, 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 buzz. No code, no language. But Jack's blood turned cold the moment he heard it. Zariah entered the room. You felt it too, she said. Jack didn't nod. He was still staring at the signal's waveform, twisted, unstable, as if it was breaking space itself. This wasn't meant to be heard, he whispered. Someone buried it. Zariah stepped forward, scanning the signal's origin. It's not from any star system, she said. It's from a dark zone, uncharted space. The ancient maps call it Null Field. Jack froze. That name wasn't new. It was in one of the Mind Taker's older memories, a place where time unraveled, where even light refused to land. A prison. Not for a person, but for something even the Mind Taker feared. We're not going there, Lyra said flatly when she was told. She had stayed with Jack and Zariah, becoming their spy, their tracker, their blade in the dark. You don't know what's inside. Nullfield, no one does. Even the Galari don't go near it. Jack stared into space. And yet, something wants to come out. Zariah looked at the screen. If this signal spreads, if others hear it, they'll follow it, Jack finished. Just like us. Zariah narrowed her eyes. Or maybe that's the point. Maybe it's a trap, Jack stood. Then we trigger it first. 2 days later, they reached the edge of Nullfield, and what they saw and didn't make sense. No stars, no color, no sound. Just absence. Like something had taken a bite out of reality. The moonship trembled. Even the Mind Taker inside Jack pulled back. I don't like this, Jack said quietly. Zariah frowned. Since when does the most feared entity in the galaxy get afraid? Jack looked her dead in the eye. When it remembers what lives here. They entered slowly. The moment they crossed into the field, time twisted. Days turned into minutes. Hours into memories. Gravity forgot its purpose. Zariah screamed as her armor crushed inward, and then repaired itself. Lyra saw her own face, in the stars. Jack fell to his knees as something touched him, not physically, but through memory, a presence older than the Mind Taker. It said no words, it used no language, but he understood it perfectly. You are the second. He was the first, Jack whispered. Who? A new vision formed, not of stars, but of a man. Human, just like him, but older, eyes empty, mind broken. He stood alone, floating in a prison of silence, screaming with no mouth. The signal had been his, a warning, or maybe a bait. Jack woke up in the medbay. Zariah sat nearby, pale, shaken. We left Nullfield, she said. Barely. Jack sat up. You saw him? Zariah nodded slowly. The first one, the one before you. Lyra entered holding a device. You need to hear this, she said. She played the recording they captured. It wasn't the same 5 tones. Now, it was a voice. Human. Desperate. If you found this, you're too late. It's already inside. You. It's not a signal. It's an infection. It waits for minds like yours. Open, curious, cracked. His name is not the Mind Taker. That was just the first layer. His real name is coming. The message cut off with static. Jack leaned back, breathing slow, so it wasn't reaching out. Zariah stood. It was spreading. Jack nodded. And now, it's awake again. Far away, deep in Nullfield, where time eats itself. A second signal began. This one had a name. We see you, Jack Miller.